Joe, say when it going to that gun in your hand. So right now I'm heading to the river. Gonna do a little bit of old Florida fishing today in the PDL. And dude, this place is awesome. I'm going to the Withlacoochee River, which is on kind of the north central part of Florida, on the Gulf Coast side of the state. And I tell you what, man, I've fished out here once or twice. We filmed an episode for Sweetwater out here on the Rainbow River. Then we went down the Withlacoochee into the Lake Rousseau, but I really haven't explored the river that much. And you know, the Rainbow River is gorgeous. It's known for its clear water, and the fact that you can see giant bass everywhere, but you just can't catch them. and the Withlacoochee is known for, you know, Coca-Cola stained water. It looks just like this coffee I'm drinking right now. It's real dark, tannic stained water, but it's just gorgeous, man. There's all kinds of stuff going on. A lot of you know, Spanish moss hanging from the trees, a lot of cypress trees, all kinds of stuff. So real cool place. We're gonna see what we can catch. Got a couple rods rigged up, but I'm gonna stay a little bit flexible, and we're gonna kind of figure it out. But it's gonna be a lot of fun, kind of exploring the Withlacoochee today. So let's hit the water. So my plan is to go upriver from the launch ramp quite a bit, just past the Rainbow River right behind me. And the water's still pretty clear up here because the Rainbow is just so crystal clear that it just permeates the rest of the river downstream. So I want to go find some real dark tannic stained water, something where the fish, you know, their guard is down and they're not as picky as far as lure selection goes. And yeah, I think that's how we're gonna catch the bigger fish today. Always do what you feel comfortable doing, and I like dirty water. So we've gone up quite a ways up the Withlacoochee from the Rainbow River, and I tell you what, it is still very clear, but the water's dark. I mean, it's a beautiful tannic stained water, but it's still, the fish can still see quite a ways. So I'm gonna use a Ned Rig. I got a big TRD rigged up here, and June bug, I mean, that's a Florida favorite. Whenever you face with dark water like this, June bug is a really good choice. So I'm gonna throw this around. I think this is how I'm gonna catch some fish. There he is, fish number one. Oh, come here. He's a giant. He's a giant. Check this guy out. Oh, what a toad. That came on the big TRD. You know, this is a great bait to throw around all different types of cover. I got it rigged weedless, but we'll put him back. Look how dark he is, man. Fish in this tannic stained water. That's a Florida bass if I've ever seen one. But yeah, I was actually throwing the TRD around these pads here, and that fish hit it right there. That's kind of the rig that I've got set up, and real good for throwing around all this isolated cover that's in here. Of course, when you get a big fish and you're fishing around the grass like this, it can get a little bit sketchy getting them out, but little fish I can pretty much finagle out of that grass. But let's see if we can catch another one. Oh, another pig. Oh, he's in my lap. Get out of there. That's awkward position. I'm sorry about that, buddy. Nobody wants to be down there. Nice tiny little black bass again. But, you know, we're catching now, and that fish as well came out of the pads on the big TRD. So kind of starting to put together a pattern, and that's a pretty common pattern, you know, for these Florida lakes during the spring spawn. Is fish love to be at the base of the spatter dock or pads, whatever you want to call it, because they spawn down there, and especially on this river, it's all hard bottom. It's not really soft bottom, so perfect little spot for them to spawn. So hopefully we can get a big girl fooled pretty soon. One thing about kayak fishing is that you have to keep things simple. You don't have a whole lot of room for a bunch of gear like I would normally have in my bass boat, and especially with the rod and reels, it's really important to choose rod and reel combos that can handle a lot of different situations. So I'm going to show you the 3 that I use on a regular basis. First one is, and this is real essential, having a good all-around spinning combo. This right here is a 6-foot 9-inch medium action Fitzgerald Versa Series rod. This is an awesome setup here because I can use it for light line tactics, real finicky fish, throwing Ned rigs, wacky rigs, shaky heads, small jerk baits, and it's short enough to give you a lot of room and accuracy in the kayak while you're sitting down. And one thing that I like about the Versa series, I'll just say this real quick, is that they have a really good strong guide train, and so I don't have to worry about bending these guides or knocking out the inserts while I'm fishing out of the kayak, which is a real big problem fishing out of a kayak at times, because you're getting down and dirty in these things. So I love the Versa series for that reason. The next one, this is when you're faced with heavier cover, need something that has a little bit more ability to fish power fishing tactics. This is a 7-foot 3-inch medium heavy action rod. This can handle anything from 12 to 20-pound test fluorocarbon, and then all the way up to, you know, 50-pound braid is what I'll fish on this. If you're fishing a frog in open water around sparse vegetation, this is a really good setup. You can use bottom bouncing techniques with the lighter fluorocarbon line, like a Texas rig or a jig. And then, of course, power fishing tactics like the chatterbait, a swim jig, spinner bait, anything that you want to fish with this thing, you can pretty much fish with it, and it can handle it. You know, this Icon PT from Quantum, this is a really good value price reel that can take a beating, and it works extremely well for a lot of different tactics. The last one that I want to show you is right here. This is, of course, when you're faced with heavy vegetation in Florida or fishing, you know, marshes. You're getting real back there in the thick stuff. This is a 7.5 foot heavy action rod. You know, this is good for flipping, pitching, punching, and throwing things like pop shads or hollow body frog over matted vegetation. This is the one that you want. Pair it with a heavy duty reel. This is a Smoke HD. It can handle you know, 65-pound braid very easily. It's got good drag, and overall, this is the type of rod that you want for those special occasions where you're faced with heavy cover. So those 3 rods handle pretty much anything that you're faced with out kayak fishing. All right. Another little one. That's all right. Take what I can get. They're all fun, man, especially in a kayak. Once again, that Ned Rig, man. I've found that the big TRD is a really good profile for these Florida fish, especially when it's a little bit clearer water. Pretty fish, man. But yeah, and I love Texas rigging it, you know, with the jig head like this. This is a Z-Man shaky head style jig head, and it works out really well with this big TRD to Texas rig it, because it's got that keeper right there. It works well with the Laztec, and it turns out perfectly straight like that. Has a real good glide as it falls down to the bottom, and that's why these fish absolutely love it. Let's catch another one. Man, it is unreal how clear this water is. I've never seen the Withlacoochee, or at least this part of the Withlacoochee, this clear. I've still got 10 foot of visibility and we're nowhere near the Rainbow River. Generally, I mean, I've seen it where it's a lot more stained and tends to be a little bit easier to fool the fish. But when you have clear water like this, I'm glad that I had them with me. I never leave home without them. But the Ned Rig, this thing will save your butt when you're faced with clear water, tough bite, and whether you're fishing the big TRD or the smaller one, you tend to get a lot of bites with this thing, and you catch some big ones too. Didn't today, but that's all right. Just being on the Withlacoochee is a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I came out today. I'll continue fishing on the way in, but get yourself some Ned Rigs. You're really gonna love it, and you're gonna catch a lot of fish with them. And for more fishing content and videos and photos and all that good stuff, visit me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Go to my website, sonarfishing.com, and of course, subscribe right here on my YouTube channel. And I'll see you on the next video.